Like every team, the Texans signed a bunch of undrafted free agents to fill up their 90-man roster going into the offseason, or, the training camp and all that stuff. Most of these guys have pretty much no shot of making the team. Of course, there is some guys that could possibly make the team, and today we're going to talk about those guys that do have a chance at making the team, or, just some guys who I've seen the fan base possibly think they can make the team. Now, one of the guys that a lot of people are high on for whatever reason is Crockett, the running back from Missouri. I'm going to just say it right now. This guy is not making the team, and I hope he does not make the team because he has a fumble issue, a pretty bad fumble issue. I believe the stat was he averages one fumble every 40 touches. So, yeah, if you're trying to make it as a running back in the NFL and you tend to fumble a lot, you're not going to be in the NFL long. I don't think Crockett has a shot at making the team. I really don't. Now, the next guy is Karan Higdon, running back out of Michigan. Now, this guy, he's 5'9", 205 pounds. He doesn't fumble. He never puts the ball on the ground. He has good vision. He could probably benefit from being in a power running scheme because he is a power running back. But, see, the thing is, in my opinion, he's too weak to be a power runner. So, that's not really going well with his style. He was also never really asked to be a receiver in Michigan, so can he catch passes out of the backfield? Maybe, maybe not. We'll just have to see. He doesn't make people miss. Honestly, I've seen a lot of Texans fans high on this guy, but to me, he's nothing special. Can he make the team? Yeah, maybe as the fourth running back behind, obviously, Miller Foreman and Buddy Howell. But, honestly, I see that as a long shot. The more likely scenario that I see happening with the running back position is some other team cuts a veteran running back, and then the Texans end up picking up that running back. Because as you guys know, right now the rosters are 90 people. 90 players are on the roster, and before the season starts, you have to cut it to 53. So there's going to be some good players cut. So the Texans could potentially pick up an actually decent running back after another team cuts them. And to me, he doesn't bring nothing to the table. The Texans need a receiving back. That's what they need. They need a third down back. They don't need another power back. They don't need another first down back. They need a third down back, a guy who can go and catch passes in certain situations. So, none of these running backs really fit that thing that the Texans need. So, I don't see either of them making it. And now the next guy, a lot of people are high on, who I can possibly see making the team, but I see it more as a long shot as well, is Johnny Dixon, wide receiver out of Ohio State. He's 5'10", 200 pounds. He ran a 4.41 in the combine, so he has pretty decent speed. I mean, his acceleration is really, really good. And he's a good kick returner, and he could be a gunner on punt team. His problem is he gets completely taken out of the game with press coverage. A big corner, all he has to do is press him at the line, and he's going to struggle. He's not going to go out there and run his route. So, yeah, if you can't really go run your route, are you really that good? Obviously in college, DBs are a little bit smaller, so he did benefit from playing smaller DBs. But in the NFL, these days, the average corner is 6 feet tall. Like, they're not 5'10", 5'11", how they used to be. So, yeah, I don't think Johnny Dixon's probably going to make the team. If he does make the team, he will probably make it over DeAndre Carter, but I don't see him beating out DeAndre Carter. I think DeAndre Carter's just a way better receiver, and he's a dynamic kick/punt returner, so I don't think Johnny Dixon really has that big of a chance to make the team. He might make the practice squad, but that's about it. Now, the next guy is Tyron Johnson, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. He's 6'1", he's 195 pounds. He's a great deep threat. He eats up cushions. If you guys don't know what that means, is you know how, like, I don't know, let's say Will Fuller. Will Fuller does this too, by the way. Like, corners play 5-10 yards off of these fast receivers. Some receivers are so fast that don't matter. They eat up those 10-yard cushions like nothing. Think of a Tyreek Hill, a Will Fuller type of guy. Deshaun Jackson in his prime. They would eat up those cushions, and it's like they weren't even 10 yards back. And Tyron Johnson can do that as well. He locates the ball well. What's his problem? Well, he has a limited route tree. He doesn't really run all the routes. But that's okay, because he could learn that. His hands aren't that great. They're not strong, meaning if he has the ball in his hands, like high pointing it or something, the corner or safety or the DB, whatever you want to call him, they can easily swipe the ball out of their hands, out of his hands. Another thing is he doesn't attack the football. So, like, say on a comeback route, he doesn't come all the way back for the football. He just sit there and wait for it, and by doing that, you know, that's pretty dangerous, because, like, if he's not attacking the football, then it leaves the DB wide open to pick that off. So, there is that. Now, I do think Tyron Johnson will at least be in competition with Vincent Smith for that 5th wide receiver spot to back up Will Fuller in case of injury. I mean, this guy is raw. He needs some work. So, it's pretty much between Vincent Smith and Tyron Johnson. Vincent Smith is pretty much the same guy as Johnson. He's just been in the league a year longer, so I do think he has a chance of making the team, but I do think Vincent Smith will probably be the favorite to get that 5th wide receiver spot, because the way I see it is, why in the world would they trade a second-year Vincent Smith for a first-year Vincent Smith, you know? I pretty much see Vincent Smith and Tyron Johnson being the same type of guy. Speedster, burner that can take the top off of defense. Will Fuller insurance, so yeah. So as of right now, you guys can probably tell, most of these guys aren't going to make the team, even the guys that people are really high on. But there is one guy who I think has a really, really good chance of making the team, and that's Albert Huggins, defensive lineman out of Clemson. He's 6'3", 305 pounds. He's really strong. He eats up blocks, eats up double teams. He stops the run really, really well. Now, he does need help with his hand techniques, but that's fine, because our defensive line coach is one of the better ones in the league. I mean, look at our track record for defensive linemen that we've had here. I mean, Brandon Dunn, Joel Heath, Christian Covington. Well, you can't really put J.J. Watt, because J.J. Watt is J.J. Watt, but you got DJ Reader, you know, Angelo Blackson. All these guys that are here pretty much came from nowhere to being pretty damn good. I think Huggins can really benefit from being here in Houston, and he can actually make the team. Now, he's not a pass rusher. He's just a straight-up run stopper. I do think Huggins makes the team over Joel Heath. Now, I'm not saying Huggins is some sort of god or anything. I just think that it just makes sense to bring in a guy that would be on a 3-year contract rather than keeping a guy that would be on a 1-year contract and hit free agency next season, then you have to sign him. So pretty much you have Huggins for 3 more years as opposed to having Joel Heath for 1 year, and next season, Brandon Dunn's going to hit free agency. So he's probably going to get signed by someone. I highly doubt the Texans want to sign him to like a 3-year, $5 million deal a year. So why not keep Huggins? I see Huggins pretty much comparable to Brandon Dunn. He could be that backup nose tackle. He could eat up blocks. He could be the backup to DJ Reader. And to me, like, this is just a depth move, a backup. And that's totally fine. I think he's the only guy that has a pretty damn good chance of making the team as an undrafted free agent. I don't think any of these guys are anything special besides Huggins. And I will say this, I think Huggins probably should have been like a 4th, 5th round pick. The reason why he didn't go early, why he went undrafted, is simply because look who he was playing behind. He was playing behind Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, Clelin Ferrell, and what was that other guy, Austin Bryant? He was playing behind the Clemson defensive line, so he never had a shot to start. So him being here with Anthony Weaver, our D-line coach, with J.J. Watt, learning from J.J., DJ Reader, Brandon Dunn, and all those guys, I think he could really become a really good player down the line for us, a good run-stopping guy. So, Albert Huggins, that is the guy I would probably bet my money on making the team. So, everyone else, I think it's a long shot. But Huggins, I do think, has a legitimate shot at making the team. And maybe, the Texans IR him. They go that route, so he sits on IR for a year. And then, he'd be on the team next year. Because a lot of teams tend to do that. Like, if they have a player they really, really like, but they don't want to put him on the practice squad because they know damn well someone's going to take him, they just IR them. And I could see Huggins being that guy. Everyone else that I mentioned, Tyron Johnson, Dixon, Karan Higdon, I could see them making the practice squad. But other than that, besides Huggins, I don't see anyone potentially making the team, honestly. So, yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.